Mokolo ya mibale Yesu nalilika Mokolo ya misato ase kwaki Ya solo azana bongo Ya solo azana bongo Yakwe mwipa wani yo Yakwe mwakana wani yo Lodo anomba mwisato Omeka kiwela inzangu Wana muluma wame yimisato Yakuni nebe nishinga Kulu kwa muchimu chamba kana Yesu batu basato Wana mwinga kumpa na kumwambila Miwu ni mwana wanzangu Wea wikala mwana wanzangu Kisungila boku we mwina Utusungila boku teto aba Awikala mwana wanzangu Kani mwindi ni kumwambila Yawuni wabila mtwavu Ewusi mwana wanzangu Kimu majangwala Yesu anikimwe Kamasandi wala
After trying to call the number, when I called my friend's number and saw that it responded, I threw away the phone. Then in the morning, I decided to go and see Gustave. It was 7 AM on a Saturday. I arrived at Gustave's home and told him this. I tried to call the number. I can hear the line ringing, but no one responded. But I knew it was ringing, but still no one responded. Gustave asked me if I tried to call my friend's number. I said yes, I tried to. He said okay. He said okay, now I'm going to give you a second chance. But he asked me this. Is there anyone in my family who's using magic or has some kind of power that is stopping me from going? I responded no. He said, okay, since you said no, I'm going to give you this second chance. But however, the consequences are this. If you do not go, you're going to become ill and die within 1 month. I said, okay, no problem. When he gave it to me, he put his hands behind his back and brought out a white paper and a white envelope. And then he told me to write down the demands that he gave to me. I wrote them down as instructed. I wrote down, Lord Lucifer, I want to meet with you. And then he instructed me to pierce the finger and use that blood to sign onto the letter. I signed it, and then he told me in the morning, go to the cemetery. Once I reach the cemetery, I should bury the letter in front of its walls. After 3 minutes of waiting, if I get a response, that means that the letter has gone through, so I'll be able to go on and continue with my journey. I went and left them. They continued doing the ceremony. I reached the cemetery. I buried the letter as he instructed me. I waited 3 minutes, then took it out. I saw that the writing on the letter changed. The whole text was all in blood. I began to read the letter. On the letter, he instructed me to go into the cemetery and I'll find a grave that will say Moray. And once I reach that grave, I should kneel down and begin to pray. I done just as they instructed. I entered the cemetery, and as the letter said, I saw the grave that said Moray. Moray was an antichrist. He had a lot of money. He died a long time ago. When I reached this grave, I bowed down and started repeating the prayer as they instructed me. When I started repeating the prayer, I saw Moray come out wearing white clothes, straight. When I looked up, he bowed his head down and directed me to go to the side. Once I finished the prayer, we done a replacement My body stayed in his casket and my spirit ended up in this second world. When I reached this world, I looked ahead of me. I saw that I was on a road, a long, long road. The road was continuing, you can never see the end of it. I looked behind me, and the same. I looked at the left, the same. I looked at the right, same. I asked myself, where have I come? The road was so long. I continue looking around and I can see villages. I saw that some places were built on gold and other places were built on diamond. The way that village was built, nowhere here on earth is built like that. I looked up to the sky. I looked up to the sky. It was red, but there was no wind, no sun. After a while, I started to hear the prayer that I was praying going in my ear. When I started hearing this prayer, I replied, yes, I am here in this world. Immediately, once I just said that, two people just appeared in front of me. They greeted me. When I just looked up to see them, I was shaken. I was very shaken. These people surrounded me. One of them, from the waist up, he was a snake, but had human legs. The other, from waist up, he was a sheep, but from down, he had human legs. Another had tiger legs, but from waist up, he had a human body. They were just like that. When I looked at them, I couldn't look at them again. I was very scared. They told me, do not be scared, because you seeked us, and you wanted to come into our world. I looked at them. After a while, they brought a horse, and they told me that they're going to put me on top of this horse until the place we're going to reach. They brought this horse. I thought it was a normal horse, but however, this horse was all skeleton. They then put me onto this horse, placed a red scarf around my neck, and then we began to go. As we was traveling, I began to look around, and wow, I was amazed. I've never seen such a place like this. As we was going, we reached a place. I had a friend. He died. I saw a dog. The body was a normal dog's body, but the head was a human's head. When I looked at this dog, I saw that its head was my friend's who died. I continued looking at him and was amazed. I was so shocked. We just continued going. Then one demon asked me, why are you so shocked? I responded, well, I'm just shocked that I just saw my friend. And then he asked me, why am I so shocked? I said, look, that dog has my friend's head. That dog has your friend's head? I said, yes, look. Then he asked me, how did your friend end up? He died. And he said, yes, you just said that he's died, so do not care about it. Let's just carry on going. We continued going, then suddenly I just saw these new nice cars driving past. But after I started looking at it properly, I saw a Mercedes car, but when I looked at it closely, I saw that it was a casket. But as I look at it from far, I can see it's a Mercedes. When I look at it properly, I can see headless people on fours just running really fast. But when I look at it from far, I can see it's a car. I looked at another car. I saw a Nissan car, but as I look closer, I can see it's a skeleton. But from far, I can see it's a Nissan car. I was shocked. Then one demon asked me, why are you shocked? These cars are in your earth. Don't you see it on the roads? I replied, never in my life have I seen these cars. Are you sure you've never seen these cars on earth? No, I've never seen cars like this before. He said, well, there are loads of them on earth. When you go back to your earth, you can go and inspect for yourself. We continued going. I had one professor. He died a long time ago. He died by a car accident. A car hit him. He died instantly. I look straight ahead, but I can see him walking towards us with the same clothes that he wore when he died. When he walked towards me, I saw him and was shocked. The same way you meet someone on the street, I also saw him face to face. I began to call out his name, but then the demon stopped me and told me not to call him. Let's just carry on going to where we're going. Do not worry about these things. I told him, that's my professor. He died. He said, yes, you just said that he died, so do not worry about it. Let's just carry on going. I continued looking at him and I saw him walk straight past me and just carried on walking. As we carried on going, we reached a few meters. I looked straight ahead. I saw a group of people wearing red clerical cassock. I saw another group of people. They were headless and they had bat's wings and they had goat's legs. As we moved closer to them, I looked at those that was wearing the red clerical cassock. They were skeleton. I was so scared, very frightened. When I got frightened, they warned me, this is the last time. If you get frightened again, you're never going to return to your earth. They told me, do not be scared. Let's just continue going to where we're going. You was the one that wanted to come here. The group I was with greeted these people and then they left me with them. These people then put me onto a new horse and changed my scarf to a black scarf, and then we carried on with our journey. As we continued travelling, we reached a few meters. I asked myself, what type of God am I going to? Look at these type of people. I've never seen these type of people. Soon after, I saw those without a head ask me, why are you saying this? You know there's loads of them on your earth. It's nothing new. Don't you see us? I said, impossible. I've never seen you on earth before. I've never seen such a thing. Then I asked myself, this guy has no head, but he's talking to me. How is he talking? You want to see where we are talking? He put his arm straight up so I can see his armpit, and you can see a mouth. It was disgusting, very terrible. I was so scared, but this time they allowed me to continue to go, even though they told me not to get frightened again. They warned me that this is the last time. We continued going. I heard some music. It was playing very loud. The music was beautiful. I asked them, where is this beautiful music coming from? One of the skeletons told me, look ahead. When I looked ahead, I saw a big kingdom. It was shining very brightly. They told me that's where God is. Soon we're going to arrive there. When I continued looking at this kingdom, I said, wow, it's normal. I've reached God's kingdom. I was scared for nothing. Very well, I've reached God. When we continued going, I was very happy. We reached a few meters. Next to the kingdom, I saw an angel. A normal angel. A white angel standing. He was also standing on a horse. A white horse. Very bright. Soon after, a few more angels appeared. When I came closer to these angels, they greeted me. Soon after, one of the angels said, this way you have come, not everyone comes. I've seen that you had some trouble coming here, but no worries, you have reached to see God. So, I believe that you're going to become a powerful person. They put me on top of this horse, and we entered this kingdom. As we entered the kingdom, I can hear loud, beautiful music playing. I looked around, I can see angels, and I said, certainly, certainly, this is the place of God. As we continued growing, they presented me to God. I looked at this God. I was scared. But when I looked at him, I was kind of shocked. On the left side, he was white and beautiful, but on the right side, he was rotten. But very beautiful. They told me that is Lucifer. When he looked at me, he laughed. He greeted me and welcomed me to his world. Soon after he asked me this question, As I just wanted to respond to his question, he told me, no, don't respond. I know why you've come here. Because my friend Gustave told me, when you reach to see Lucifer, tell him this. Do not ask for much, but just tell him that you want power and work. I was just about to repeat these demands as Gustave distracted me. He told me, do not talk. I know why you've come here and I know what you want to ask me. But he said, however, before I give you what you want, I'm giving you one mission to go incomplete on your earth. If the mission is successful, I'll give you the gifts that you desire. However, I wanted to ask him this question. In your kingdom, I can see angels and people are normal here. But outside the kingdom, it's rotten and I can see deformed, headless people. He said, I know what you've seen. But on your earth, all that you're seeing here is there also. I told him, no, I've never seen it. He said, okay, we're going to do this. I'm giving you a mission. I said, what mission is this? He said, I'm going to give you spiritual views. He gave me the eyes of the spirit. He gave me a magic prayer book. He said, the eyes that I give you, you're going to be able to see everything on earth. The mission I'm giving you is to destroy the works of that man. He calls himself Jesus Christ. In his Bible, he says that he is the Grand Master. He said, I'm sending you to destroy the works of our enemy. Because these days, he is disrupting our works. I said, okay, I understand. He replied, okay. Then he brought out 2,000 demons, because there's two types of demons. This first demon, you can kick him out, he will go. But this second demon is very powerful. To deliver someone, you have to fast for 1 week or even 2 weeks. Then you'll be able to combat this evil spirit. This demon is very resistant, and so he gave me 2,000 of these powerful demons to go with me. I said, okay, no problem. He also gave me his secretary, his assistant, and my own assistant, and the assistant of his assistant. He said these people are going to assist me. He also gave me a 14 days time limit. After 14 days, if I haven't completed the mission, he doesn't know what's going to happen to me. He said good luck, and off we went. As we were going, the secretary turned to me and said, although he said 14 days, he doesn't actually mean 14 days. In truth, he's given us 3 days. I said, seriously? Come on, stop lying. It came out of his own mouth and you're trying to tell me he said 3 days? He said, truly I tell you, it's 3 days, not 14 days. As I came into the second world, my family and friends who were left behind, the enemy erased their memory. They totally forgot about me. As they erased their memory, in the second world, I was there for 2 weeks. In our world, it's 2 weeks, but in the second world, it's actually 1 month. So as I left to go to the second world and my body was left in the casket, my body became completely decomposed. We went back to the same tomb and I began to repeat the prayers, and then immediately my body came out of the casket. My body returned back to normal. We done the same prayers and Moray returned. However, I was now walking in thin air. My feet was no longer touching the ground. I and the group of demons that came to assist me were all walking in thin air. One of the demons then directed the way to get into town. As we continued walking in thin air, we reached the front entrance of the cemetery, and I looked up, and truly, I tell you, I saw millions and millions of demons. it was more compared to those in the second world. I saw millions and millions of demons, all of different types. It was very, very overcrowded. You wouldn't even look twice. I looked and said, wow, millions of demons are here. They said, you are seeing our angels. Humans cannot see them. The only way to see them is to have our eyes. We reached the town and I saw those cars that I saw in the second world. That's why you Christians and servants of God, do not be too attached to things you see with your physical eye. Some of these nice cars you're seeing on the road, with your physical eye you're seeing is a car, but if God gave you the grace to open your eyes, I believe that you'll be fearful. Some of the cars you're seeing on the road is a casket or even your dead friend. That's why when you enter a car, you should pray. When you enter any type of vehicle, you should pray, because many of these cars have come out from the second world. That's why you have to be careful. Very, very careful. Because in the second world, they arrange a conference each year. From September to December is the annual when cars are brought in from the second world into our world. These cars are brought with money created by magic, so they are condemned to cause an accident from September till December. That's why you're hearing frequently about car accidents. It's because it's that time now for them to start paying. They have to start paying. They have to continue paying with people's bloods. These bloods are going to the second world, and also Lucifer is living off these bloods. As we continue, you're going to find out why they use human blood in the demon world. That's why you must be very cautious. As a Christian, when you are entering a car, you should pray to God that He gives you a genuine car. Also, don't be in a rush. That's why you're seeing many of these car accidents happening on our roads, but we're currently not in December, but once we reach December, you'll see for yourself. That's why I'm asking you Christians and servants of God to be very serious. Be very alert and very serious to listening to the Holy Spirit. We continued going. I looked straight ahead and I could see someone walking towards us. He was a few distance away, and he had a star shining very brightly. His whole body was protected, and he had an angel guarding him. I looked at him and then asked my secretary, who is this person? He said, these are the people we've come to destroy. They are the people of that Grand Master. However, we're restricted to getting any closer. If he comes here, we have to move further away. We cannot get closer to him, because if we get too close, that fire could come and kill us. I looked at them and said, you guys are like some fools. Look, compared to them, who is more powerful? We have more power than them. No, I do not disagree. We are more powerful, but first of all, we have to remove that power that's in him. Then we can get closer to him. I said, look, there's millions of us and one of him. We can just literally attack him right now and he will die on the spot. They said, no. Look, he's alone and there's a lot of us. We must attack him. They all completely resisted. They said, if we make a mistake, that man is going to finish us all. What they said really troubled me. I said, okay, let's just go. We reached the place where the convention was being held. The theme of the convention was this: destroy the world of the enemy. The convention was packed. A lot of people were there. When we arrived, I was surprised to see the hall packed. Then my secretary said to me, "Let us climb onto the roof of a nearby building. We'll be able to carry on with our mission there without any problem." We climbed onto the roof of a nearby shop. We climbed up and stood on the roof. As we stood on the roof, I saw 4 people, all of different body forms. Then I asked them, "Who are these 4 people?" Then they began to explain to me who are these 4 people. They began to explain and said, "The first one you are seeing, he's all black. He truly is all black just the way you are seeing him." And I said, "Yes, I see him. That's the one we call natural. He's on our side. We don't have a problem with him. He truly is one of ours." They said, "Do you see the second person who has a form of an animal?" I said, "Yes, I see him. He has taken the form of an angel that's guarding his life. We also don't have a problem with him. He's on our side." I said, "Okay." He said, "Can you see the one that has a word on his forehead? There's a name on the forehead, but do not read it out. Just look." I said, "Yes, I can see a name written there, but it's not clear." That's the name of their Grandmaster. They told me that Jesus Christ is written on the forehead. That word is a pact. When he made a pact with his Grandmaster, immediately that word was on his forehead. I asked, "How did they do these pacts?" "Yes, when somebody accepts Jesus Christ and they are baptized, this ceremony alone is a pact. Immediately his name is written on your forehead." They said he opened the doors for us to come into his life, so our angels are now controlling his life. That's why he no longer has that power that was in him, and the name that's written on his forehead is no longer shining as bright. It's only there now as a sign, but slowly it's going to fade away. I replied, "Yes, okay." They said, "That guy is also on our side, and when these type of people die, we transfer them direct to hell where they wait for the day of judgment." Now I looked at the 4th person. He looked exactly like the person I saw earlier. He had a bright shining star and he was protected by fire and an angel. There were a lot of them and they were all different. They said, "These are the people who come to combat. We have to remove the fire that's in them, and that's why we're here today. We must complete this mission within 2 days." So just like he said, we must complete the mission within 2 days, and on the 3rd day we can just return. I said, "Okay, we're nearby their front entrance, but we can't get any closer because of the fire. So where are we going to start?" Then my secretary said, "Can you see all those people that are standing?" I said, "Yes." He said, "That's their commanders. They are protecting them. They are praying and calling out the name of their Grandmaster. When they call out that name, their prayer is very powerful, and the fire can even come here where we are standing right now. That's why we must locate ourselves elsewhere." I said, "Who are these commanders?" He said, "They call them ushers." I said, "Oh, okay." A few minutes later, we began to create a plan. I said, "Okay, now I need to put the demons into place." I distributed 2,000 demons, 500, 500, 500, 500 in all directions. When I distributed 2,000 demons in all directions, we then came up with a plan. I said, "Okay, we first have to start off with those 2 servants. They were very powerful." Then my secretary said, "We've got 2 ways. We can verify these 2 ways so that we can gain entry and remove this force that's in them." I said, "Where can we verify these ways of entry?" They said, "Let's go look at their wife and also their children." We tried the wives, but just the same, they were protected by the fire. We tried the children, but still the same result. When I saw this result, no form of entry, yes, it's very important for Christians and servants of God to train their wife and children to live a life of prayer. The restrictions of Christians and servants of God either comes from their wife, children, or themselves. That's why you have to continually pray. We did not find a way of entry through these two ways. We therefore began to think of another plan. My secretary then said, let's try and go through their secretaries. We saw that they had two secretaries. The first one was a female and the other was a male. When we tried to go through the male secretary, we saw that he was also protected by the fire. However, my secretary informed me that we can go through the female secretary. She's not guarded by the fire because she has a fiancé. She's on our side. I said, right, okay, so what are we going to do? He said, we're going to do this. Let's send a group of demons to her family home. They should create a problem, and this will cause them to call the female secretary. When she returns home, we will cause her to get ill, and as a result, she will die. Immediately, her body will be then used by demons. I said, very well. It happened exactly as we planned. Her body was being used by demons. I began to read out the prayers. I invoked a prayer, then this very beautiful dress came out. I've never seen a dress like this on earth. We took the dress and gave it to the demons. When the demons went to her family home, when they reached her home, her mother looked and said, yes, this is my son-in-law. They greeted each other very well. He took the gift and gave it to her mother and said, when she returns, give it to her, but I need to go right now because I have other things to do. As soon as he left the home, the mother received a message saying your daughter's fiancé has died. She was surprised and said, how can he be dead? He was just here a few minutes ago and just gave my daughter this gift. How can he be dead? What are you talking about? She was just about to continue talking, but then immediately the demons cut the telephone line. As soon as the fiancé left, the demons disappeared. When the female secretary left the convention and returned back to her home, the spirit that was in her was signaling her to renounce it. When the spirit was telling her to renounce it, then my secretary said, look at the power that's in them. It's signaling her not to touch it. Then my mother appeared and said, your fiancé has left you a gift. It's alluring. When she just heard it, she said, wow, this I do not know. But the Spirit of God was continuing to signal her to renounce it and not to touch it. She opened the front door. There's 5 supreme forces that the world of darkness is using. There's a demon that causes you to become tired, gives you desire for materialistic things, negligence, lust, and curiosity. These 5 demons, she already done the permutation and entered through the door. As soon as she touched the gift, in my presence, I saw that bright star, that angel, and that power that was in her slowly disappear. My secretary looked at me and began laughing. He said, you see how we remove their powers? We just carry out small siege. When we just siege once, immediately that resistance goes. We're not scared of them, and to remove their powers is very simple. I said, yes, it's very true. He said, as you're just seeing her now, her spirit has been transferred directly to our world. When we go back, you'll be able to see it. But I said, she's here. How can that spirit be there? He said, yes, she's on earth, but when we go back, you will go and see for yourself. I said, right, okay. After a while, we then took these evil spirits and put it into the life of this young woman. So the spirit that was now leading her was the powers from the second world. That's why you Christians should not desire other people's things. You should be happy with what God has blessed you with. That's why you Christians and servants of God should not have a habit of looking at other people's things and desiring them. It's the doors of entry that's allowing those evil spirits to come into your life and remove the spirit of God that's in you. That's why you must be very cautious, because these demons are very terrible. Yes, after a while, when the female arrived at the church, many of these people that were looking at her liked the way she dressed. Immediately, impure spirits entered into them. In my own presence, I can see the Spirit of God leaving them. She went to her pastor's office, she knocked on the door and then entered. The pastor looked, but the spirit that was in him was very powerful. The spirit was telling him to renounce, renounce, renounce. When he just looked at the female secretary, a few minutes later, he also done permutation with the evil spirits. We cheered and said yes, and immediately sent evil spirits into the church. Instantly, the pastor began to laugh. He thought God has blessed him, and secretly the female began to laugh at him. When the pastor looked, then soon after he began to think of ways to sleep with her. To you Christians and servants of God who are listening to me right now, look, the body you're in right now is an envelope. It's an envelope that's deteriorating right now. The person that's giving you the force to move and the ability to speak, he is called the soul. It is the soul. The soul is allowing your body to function. It is the soul. So when you see something and you think to yourself, wow, I need to steal that, immediately the demon of that spirit comes into you. So when you think to yourself, I need to poison that person, yes, you have killed them immediately, because it's written on God's side and even the enemy's side that you have killed. Many people have killed others by their thoughts, and others have committed many crimes just by their thoughts. When they die, they end up in the second world, and Lucifer judges them in the same way. He will judge you and say, you've killed someone. You will say, no, who have I killed? He will say, you've killed this person, this person, this person. But you will say, that person is still alive. He will bring out a video and show you how you killed that person. It's true. You guys who are all still alive in this world, you may be an unbeliever or a Christian, but you all have had an advantage. You have a big advantage this very moment. Because those who have died, it's too late for them. It's completely over for them. The preparation of Satan is coming. What matter the circumstance, they have to follow the dragon Satan until he is thrown into the fire. But you're alive and still on earth. That's why I'm telling you to be cautious, cautious, cautious. Be very alert. Even if you are poor and hungry, do not lose the Spirit of God that's in you. At that minute, the pastor began to have these evil thoughts, and immediately the doors of entries opened. The demons immediately cut out the electricity and disorder entered the church. This happened between 9 to 6 p.m. It happened and the demons were able to enter, and a massive distinction occurred in that room. They told me, these people, we have taken them directly to our second world. When we go back, you will go and see them. I looked and said, wow, this is truly well. As we left, my secretary turned to me and said, "We've completed the mission. It's been a success."